Hey, it's your boy Blackwater Mo with Leonida Oranges, where we give you fresh squeezed GTA 6 content. And today we're going to be reviewing, I believe his name is Bav. Let me see. Borgen Bav. He did a video on the police, a deep dive on the police and how the wanted system will work. And he's basing it off of stuff on RDR2 as well as the Hank's Waffles video, which was in the 2022 leaks. As we know good and well on this channel, I haven't seen those leaks, so I feel like, in my personal opinion, he did the best explanation that I have seen so far of those leaks. As far as just some of the calling out a little bit of the nuance and some of the details. So how the police will work in GTA 6 deep dive. So, like he said, or like I said, he's just going to be using the Red Dead 2 system. And you see up on screen, it's witness, right? And based on the map, we see this little red dot, like that's who our witness is. So we'll be able to, just taking that into consideration in a modern day Vice City. That'll be cool. But let's jump right into his video.
For GTA 6, and it's about to get a lot more detailed. Now let's get into what the new wanted system is gonna look like. And most of what we actually know comes from the 2022 leaks with the Hank's Waffle clip, along with some extra detail buried within the game's debug UI. During the robbery, a bar appears at the top of the screen and it reads "Time until cops dispatched." Now it's worth noting that at this point, Jason and Lucia still haven't gained a wanted level yet.
This is pretty dope. Okay, so like, maybe if, and once again, this is all speculation, I haven't seen the leaks, but like somebody does call the police, right? If you got mask on, like on screen, Lucia has sunglasses as well as a mask covering her face. If you got mask on, you could finish the crime before the police get there. You can get in and out. You probably won't have a wanted level. That'll be crazy.
This bar is counting down, giving you a window of opportunity to carry out the robbery before police are eventually sent your way. Now, once the dispatch bar does run out, a pop-up reads, "You are wanted, escape the cops to avoid becoming busted." That's when the meter switches over to cops arriving, and then when they do finally arrive at the location, that's when the wanted stars will appear on screen. From there, police would surround the building and call for backup on the radio, which is a massive step up from GTA 5, where the cops would already be swarming your location before you got to finish the crime.
So that's dope. Police will get there based on, like, I guess, like whoever's in the vicinity, doing air quotes on that. And then they got to call for backup depending on the situation. That's pretty dope. And it'll probably, it could probably vary depending on where you are. Like if you out in Port Gellhorn, it's probably not as many cops or not as like well funded as if you're on like the Vice City Beach, where it's like, full force police force. And then also, like, that might be like levels to it, to where we see Jason and Lucia doing the robbery in the trailers in Port Gellhorn. That's probably where we'll start at. And then we have we see them escalate to this bank job with Raul. So maybe we start off small time where we can get away from the cops fairly easily.
Now, we don't know if this Hank's Waffle clip is happening in a mission-based context, but if this is how police operate in the open world too, then it's going to change up the gameplay quite a bit. But going back to what's happening while that bar is counting down, there's another pop-up on screen that reads "full description." This implies that the witnesses inside the diner have a full description of Jason and Lucia, since none of them are wearing masks to conceal their identity. Now,
they did do this in Grand Theft Auto. And like when I first got Grand Theft Auto 5, of course, I was like, oh, I got to get a mask. And they were really like good at giving you a bunch of masks to choose from. Like there's hundreds of masks in GTA 5. I almost never wore a mask for robbing people. It was more so cosmetic. And even in RDR2, very rarely wore a mask because I just took care of the witnesses. Just kidding, but
You
also
might
serious.
remember Rockstar did a version of this in GTA 5, encouraging you to wear a mask during a robbery and a heist, but honestly, it never really worked. I don't think it really mattered too much. This system worked a lot better in Red Dead 2 because
Still
if you
didn't use
committed
it.
a crime without a mask and returned to that town sometime later, NPCs would instantly recognize you, and if it was a store that you robbed, then they would sometimes refuse to serve you. It looks like this system has returned in GTA 6, but in a much bigger way. While you're committing crimes, NPCs are able to build the description. They remember who you are, what you look like, and what you're wearing. They can then pass that information off to the police, and they will start to look for someone in the area that matches that description.
I wonder if, like, in certain neighborhoods, like if you're in a more seedy area, people don't snitch on you. Whereas if you're in a more affluent, highfalutin area, people call the police. Those neighborhoods that say "we call police," those type of signs. Versus if you're in La Pearl, where it might be a little Haiti type. People like, nah, we don't snitch. Snitches get stitches. That'll be an interesting
Instead of just
dynamic.
instantly knowing who you are the second something goes wrong. Another thing spotted in this clip is crowd control, with the actual ability to threaten NPCs. This is, again, similar to Red Dead Redemption 2's witness system, where you had the opportunity to silence or threaten witnesses to avoid attracting a wanted level. And doing so reduces the chances of NPCs building up an accurate description in the first place. It's a mechanic that gives you something to manage during the robbery itself, instead of just standing there while a timer runs out in the background. It's also worth pointing out that some of the NPCs have an orange marker above their head, and this is them likely attempting to call the police or run away. Because
Interesting. So I didn't know this, or obviously because I haven't seen the leaks, but you can see which NPC is trying to be a hero. Don't be a hero, bud. And you can kind of engage with them that way. Like you can see who the person is and handle them accordingly. I know multiple people mentioned zip ties and stuff like that in the leaks. So that crowd control piece. I'm interested to see how that mechanic works. Like, can I assign Jason or Lucia to crowd control, or do I have to be constantly switching back and forth to manage the crowd, then get in the loot? It'll be interesting to see how that works.
when this happens, Jason goes over to them to keep everyone under control. This interaction fully plays out when Lucia leaves the diner and one of the NPC's markers begins to flash and eventually turns red. Once it does turn red, that NPC bolts out the door and starts to flee. This suggests with crowd control, you need to keep an eye on everyone the whole time you're in there, rather than just threatening everyone once and then starting to steal the money and assuming that they're all just going to stay still and cooperate. Going back to the witness description stuff, this same mechanic also applies to vehicles. When Jason and Lucia head outside and steal a police cruiser, a pop-up on screen reads, "Any vehicle you are seen entering will be known to the law." And over in the top right, we can see the description change from no vehicle description to full vehicle description.
This is interesting. Also kind of expected. So I wonder, can you like steal a getaway vehicle and then stash like your regular vehicle off somewhere, and um it's kind of like a throwaway, like a tilt. So that's pretty dope. I like it. I'm really excited about this. Start hitting some
The
licks.
moment they're spotted getting inside. This was also kind of shown in trailer 1 when Jason and Lucia were driving past the police who were presumably heading to the scene of the crime. But because Jason and Lucia are in a vehicle that isn't yet known to the police, they're able to drive right past without being followed. This is where masks and unknown vehicles are going to.
This has nothing to do with the police, but I just noticed. So in this robbery here, Jason and Lucia both have these like little MP5s, but she got iron sights on hers. And I don't know if it'll show it. Of course, it probably won't now that I'm saying it, but Jason's got like a red dot sight on his. So I wonder, do you like select the loadout for your robbery? Like this obviously appears to be a story mission, because I think Raul might get involved with this one. But yeah, you got to pick a particular loadout, and you have kind of like in GTA Online, certain amount of weapons that you can pick from based on where you stole them from in the heist setup. So yeah, both have the same type of gun with different attachments.
Mattering a lot more than they did in past games. If police have been given a solid description of
There's that red dot sight on Jason's gun, right
Or you
on
look
cue.
like, or they know exactly what vehicle you're driving, it's going to be a lot harder to shake your wanted level. The only real way to bring your heat down is by changing outfits, concealing your identity, and making sure that whatever you're driving isn't already known to the police. So it really makes you think about your choices before you even start a robbery or a crime, pushing you to be a bit more methodical about your whole approach rather than just winging it. So there's
Absolutely. Like that's my main takeaway is like you can't just go crazy and just kill everybody. And I mean, you totally can, but it's going to be a lot more challenging to execute and get away with. So for me, I'm looking for this level of immersion. Like I'm not. I think because I'm an adult and I grew up with your Grand Theft Auto, I was, of course, bought into the pulling a grenade launcher out of your ass. But growing up with the game and then seeing how they executed it with Red Dead, where you had to be intentional with whatever you were taking on a particular mission. Like, do I need a sniper for this? Am I hunting? Do I need a varmint rifle? Right? Like, having to really think about what you need before your, endeavors. I really enjoyed that. And I think it'll do well with a older crowd in the GTA 6 space, the people who grew up with the game who are having to be a little bit more thoughtful in how they execute things. I know that's not going to be received by everybody, but I think there are a lot of people like myself who will be looking forward
really
to
two
that.
systems working together here, feeding off of each other. The witness system determining what the police actually know about you, like your face, your outfit, and the vehicle you're driving. Then the heat system that determines how fast that knowledge turns into someone actually showing up at your location. Moving on, let's talk about the police AI and how we'll be able to interact with them, hopefully out in the open world. The leaked footage shows us the police dynamically using cover during a gunfight. The enemy AI in previous games did use cover.
So this I heard a lot of people reference, but I didn't see any. Like no one has explained it like Bev has here for me. Because I hear people talking about, oh, the cover. I'm like, the cops always took cover. So I feel like he did a really good job of giving some visuals and articulating what they meant by that in the Hank's Waffles
But when they
leaks.
would return fire, they'd normally step out into the open, exposing their body to your bullets. However, in GTA 6, the enemy AI, including the police, will raise their gun over obstacles to get a shot on you while still protecting their body. Then, as they move toward a lower section of a barrier, they will begin to lower their gun and start to crouch down, all while still maintaining a line of sight on you.
I think this is a beautiful visual. That being said, I'm a like I don't play hard games or I don't play games on hard. I'm at that age where life is hard enough, so I play games to just enjoy them. So I'm gonna be on auto aim. And I imagine if the aiming system's anything like Red Dead or GTA, I'm gonna still just pick off all these guys with headshots. Ping, 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 ping. But I like that it'll be more challenging. They're not just gonna pop out full body and be like, "Here I am, look at me, look at me." But I feel like this was a great visual to kind of show what they mean by the varying lengths and levels of cover that the enemy AIs are going to take.
And
Pretty
protecting
dope.
their body. That alone makes gunfights with police a lot more dangerous because now you'll have to be mindful of your own positioning during a shootout instead of just trading bullets out in the open. It also means that holding an angle inside of a store probably isn't going to work the same way it used to in GTA 5, since the police are apparently smart enough to flank and reposition instead of just funneling straight into your line of fire one at a time. We've already covered how your description gets logged once police actually see you with the witness system, but it's worth mentioning how they might be able to receive that information. In previous games, NPCs would simply call 911 the moment you committed a crime, but with how big social media has become, the first thing a lot of people do these days is pull out their phone and start filming to post it online. We saw in trailer 1 that social media is expected to be a big part of the game, so the idea that your actions could get filmed and uploaded to the internet, and that footage is what actually feeds into your heat and builds up your notoriety. Now, this is very speculative, but it's not completely unrealistic. Next up, we have CCTV cameras. Shown during the leaks was a security camera, and the debug on screen indicated that it was actively recording. We know that cameras in GTA 6, or at least some of the cameras, are recording, as we got to see a shot in trailer 1 from a gas station's.
I think body cam footage will be pretty prevalent as well. Like a lot of people think that body cam footage from trailer one is like, oh, Jason's a cop. I think it shows immediately after this or right before this, but this CCT footage is just showing like we go from a phone camera to this CCT camera to body cameras. I feel like it's just showing all the various ways that one can be recorded or that the world is just watching. I don't necessarily think Jason's a cop. That's too I don't know, obvious, but also wouldn't be surprised if he was.
Security cameras point of view. Now, it's unconfirmed if this ties into the broader police system or if it's part of a mission structure. But what would be really cool to see is these cameras around the map that are monitoring our movements and forcing us to avoid them, just like it is in some of the GTA Online missions and heists. We also see police body cam footage that shows up in trailer 1, and that is most likely tied to a specific mission rather than something running during every police encounter in free roam.
I do actually think that this is running through maybe not every police encounter in free roam, but I think like just in the real world, some police have body cams. And if it comes into question that, you did like, and this is speculative because there was another video that I saw that I'm pretty sure was AI. But they said that you can actually get busted, right? And he mentioned earlier in this video that in the leaks, it said, do XYZ to avoid getting busted. And they're saying if you get busted, you could possibly serve jail time or actually uh, go to court. Once again, all speculation on those two things. But if you do get busted and there are some sort of repercussions other than losing money and your weapons, um, this body cam footage could come into play, right? So I'm assuming the police will be corrupt to a certain degree, and that'll be an element that we could probably play with, or a method that will be used to in the gameplay, right? Like there's always corrupt cops, especially in Miami. There was like this whole bust where like almost the entire police force got like arrested or because of them smuggling drugs. So corrupt cops will definitely be a part of it. And in this trailer, that one cop talks about, oh, we got to look after our own. That sounds like some shady shit, if I'm being 100% honest. So I imagine that these body cams, probably not on every cop, but I do think that they'll play some sort of role during free roam, not just a story mission. We'll see though. Speculation.
Still, Rockstar doesn't usually build in detail like this without it paying off somewhere, so I'm pretty interested to see how that's going to play out. Roadblocks come up more than once across the marketing. Trailer 1 shows police blocking off lanes in the aftermath of a crash, and screenshots from Trailer 2 show cops forcing traffic into a little mini detour around them. This is different to the police roadblocks we're used to in GTA 5, because in that game they only really spawn during an active police chase.
I think this is also Rockstar showing off their new AI driving system to where now the NPCs drive around those roadblocks instead of you just putting one car in the way and you blocking up 20 to 30 cars. You throw one sticky bomb and they all blow up. Now the AI can actually avoid stuff on the road. They can drive around. They're not just on one set course. I think that's the Rockstar showing that. In the trailers, but also probably just police roadblocks as well.
What we're seeing in this footage and these screenshots looks like random roadblocks that aren't necessarily set up for the player at all. It's just a bit of world building detail that happens whether you're involved or not. That said, I'm sure we'll still see regular roadblocks and spike strips set up for us during our police chases. The screenshots and footage from trailer.
This right here, like I said, this cop is pushing this man who's obviously surrendered. That looks like a corrupt cop of some sort. Like he's not defending himself. He's a defenseless man, and this cop just pushes him. I want to see that cop's body cam to see what happened, and maybe this guy can get some sort of reward or settlement. I don't know. I might be going like thinking too deep into it, but it's obviously going to be corrupt cops in here.
Responding to situations that have nothing to do with the player at all, chasing down NPCs for their own unrelated crimes happening elsewhere in the world. It's a small detail, but it's the kind of thing that makes Leonardo feel like its own living, breathing world, instead of everything just existing to purely react to whatever the player happens to be doing it during that moment. You could just be driving through the city and pass a pursuit that's already in progress with no involvement from you whatsoever.
Right, and maybe you can impact that pursuit one way or another, like they used to do in GTA 4, where you would get the Good Samaritan bonus. I think it was in San Andreas as well. If you saw somebody running from the cops, you could like trip them And then, the cops would give you like $50 or something like
Which is the
that.
level of detail GTA 5 never really committed to outside of random scripted events. Now that we've covered how all these systems work,
I I love this screenshot right here because these ladies, two of them are obviously getting arrested. They have handcuffs on the police car. This lady's twerking on the police car, and this lady's doing a selfie. And one of the ladies back here with the ponytail and the white glasses, she's got her tongue out like, ow, and she's getting arrested. She's being handcuffed. Like, that's the level of ridiculousness that social media is. Like, we just record every encounter, no matter how ridiculous or embarrassing it could be. That's just an interesting perspective, especially with the cops. Like I said, both getting arrested, and she's still like flexing, showing out for the gram, though she's being
let's
handcuffed.
talk about the actual police themselves.
All of them thick
Because
though.
GTA 6 splits up law enforcement a lot more than GTA 5 did. It's worth remembering that Leonidas map is roughly 2.5 times bigger than GTA 5's map. Instead of one department covering that whole space, policing is broken down by county and jurisdiction. In GTA 5, it was basically two agencies where the LSPD would cover the city and the county sheriff covered pretty much everywhere else on the map. GTA 6 goes a lot deeper than that, assigning dedicated units to specific areas across the map. For example, the Vicedale County alone has 3 separate departments: the Vicedale Police Department, the Vice City Police Department, and the Vice Beach Police Department, each covering their own sector of the county. Outside of the Vicedale area, there are a few more that we do know of. We saw the Port Gellhorn Police.
And this is kind of what I was alluding to earlier, that I think these different polices will have different response times based on, like, if you out in the sticks, they obviously ain't got a bunch of police, and they probably gonna have a slower response time. But maybe they more antsy and they quicker to shoot. I don't know. We'll see. I imagine the city will be quicker to shoot for
During the
real.
leaks, and they'll be covering Kelly County. Then in trailer 1, when the police cars are spotted driving past Jason and Lucia, if we pay close attention to the markings on the cars, then we can see that they're actually part of the Leonard County Sheriff's Office. Then in the screenshots that came with trailer 2, we can see a sign in the background that reads Ambrosia County Sheriff's Office. It's also worth mentioning POACH, which stands for the Protection of Animals and Controlled Hunting, which is based on the real-life Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. POACH isn't tied to a specific county, and it isn't really a police in the traditional sense either. They only get involved with wildlife crimes like smuggling protected animals and illegal hunting. We see them doing odd jobs in trailer 1, like pulling out an alligator from someone's swimming pool, and more serious things like chasing down illegal hunters in the Grass Rivers who had gators loaded up on a trailer. Which, if you didn't know, hunting alligators without a permit is illegal in the state of Florida, which is why we see these hunters being chased down by POACH. With the departments split up like this, it's reasonable to think that each one runs on different resources, which could mean response times might be different depending on where you are. For example, if you're wanted in Vice City, then you're probably looking at fast response time from a well-funded police department with loads of backup. But if you're out near, say, Port Gellhorn, then the police out there might be a lot more stretched, giving you more time before backup actually shows up. Now, nothing's confirmed on the specifics, but it does line up with the dispatch timer mechanic we talked about earlier, and it would be a natural way to make the size of the map feel a lot bigger and give these departments a bit of variety. Among the list of different police vehicles, there is something for every scenario to help the police keep up with you during chases. Now, shout out to the guys over at GTA Base for covering all of the vehicles that have been spotted in the trailers and screenshots, including all of the known police vehicles. Most of them have been named as they've appeared previously in GTA 5, but there are a few unnamed vehicles that haven't been seen in a GTA game before, so let's dive into them. On the road, there's the Vapid Interceptor, which was the main police cruiser used by the LSPD. The Brute Riot van also returns from GTA 5. Then we have the Bravado Buffalo STX, the Stanier LE, and the Gauntlet Interceptor, which were all introduced into GTA Online. The Stanier also comes in a police ghost variant, which, for those unfamiliar, a police ghost car has markings that blend in unless you catch it from the right angle, or if you shine
Dope. I did notice this right away. This is where the people were harassing the. That's why I said they like undercovers. I don't know what type of police officer drives this car because it's not undercover because it says police on it, but maybe detectives or something like
your
that.
headlights on it. And we can see these markings react as Jason drives past it with the markings reflecting from his headlights. Then as he goes past, it's barely visible. Actually, I had to Google what a police ghost car is because I don't think we have them in Australia. Then
We definitely got them here in the US of A. Yeehaw!
for the new vehicles making their first appearance in GTA 6, there appears to be a Vapid SUV, which is based on a Ford Explorer. We can also see a new Bravado Bison pickup truck. On the water, there's the Allure Predator boat, which was shown in the pre-order screenshots chasing down Jason and Lucia. Then there's the Poach airboat, which we'll be seeing primarily in the Grass Rivers. And lastly, for air support, we have the Buzzard, which was shown during the pre-order screenshots, and in trailer 2, we got a glimpse at the Maverick helicopter. There's a whole lot that we still don't know about the police, including this guy and what his significance in the story will be.
Crooked Cop. He probably the head of the whole Crooked Cop division. Like I said, I seen it in the video from this dude Sav. I'll find him and probably link his videos because he do really dope videos. I haven't reviewed any of them, but he did like this crazy deep dive into all of this Florida lore that Rockstar would definitely be aware of, that they would definitely be putting into their game. And one of them was about this whole police force in somewhere in Miami who was smuggling cocaine, and they all got fired, or vast like 80% of them, or some shit like that. I don't know. It was crazy.
I think it's highly likely that he'll be one of the antagonists in the story, hunting down Jason and Lucia. But again, we don't really have much to work with. That being said, I am planning on doing a deep dive video into some of the characters and factions within GTA 6 to see if we can get a better understanding of the people in Leonidas. So keep an eye out for that one. But that pretty much wraps up everything we know so far about the police in GTA 6. We've got
Bro, this has me so excited. I'm not even lying to you. Like I am really pumped about being able to, first off, all the places we can rob. Like in GTA 5, there was like 20 gas stations that you could rob, and then I think they might have had those armored cars driving around periodically that would like show up on the map. But with all the intrable interiors that they're talking about, and based on what we know so far, we've seen in the leaks them rob the Hank's Waffles, which I'm imagining is like a Waffle House, which is dope. We've seen them robbing some sort of liquor store already, right? So hopefully there's at least more than 20 of those, I imagine. There'd have to be, right? And then we've seen them robbing a bank, right? I'm assuming the bank is probably story mode or mission related, right? Mission content. But robbing the Hank's Waffles and robbing the little gas station and maybe some other things, maybe houses or cars. Like that was one thing. Like we used to go rob in RDR2. We could rob stagecoaches. We could rob people's horses. You can go to somebody's horse and like loot stuff off their horse. Like what if you could do that with like every car? You can walk up to somebody's car and look in there and see what they got, steal people's change, and they see these, maybe some valued laptops, iPads, who knows, take it to the fence. But yeah, man, I'm like really excited about the potential of this game and all that you can do. It's going to be so hyped up. I feel like Rockstar is doing a good job of marketing it by allowing us to market it and not saying anything. As I record this on August the 4th, it's speculated that we'll get trailer 3 on August the 6th or the 7th, depending on their Take-Two's earnings call. So maybe we'll have more information later this week, maybe not. But I am, to say that I'm super stoked about this is an understatement. Like, Lord, give me strength just to wait patiently. All right. But if you guys like GTA 6 content like this, where we give you fresh squeezed GTA content from your boy Blackwater Mo, Leonida Oranges, stay, what's a word I can say? Stay fresh.